What's up, everyone? So I am back. First of all, a big apology to those that have subscribed. I had mentioned I would make a video every week, and I ended up falling off of it, which I can tell you all about it, but some excuses after all. I am committed to doing so every week from now on. So I really appreciate if you're watching. Thank you. I wanted to reintroduce myself in this video. Oh, for those that don't know what this means, you'll see it on my first video, introduction video, and emotional support. So this is a reintroduction. I am Jamie Paz, also known as Coach Paz now. I think I said that already. I'm Guatemalan. I have lived in Los Angeles for most of my life. I was brought into the US at 1, but then returned to Guatemala at the age of 8 and stayed there until almost 19. From the ages 15 to 19, I started coming just for a couple months, and ultimately at 19, I ended up staying here again. I dearly love and identify with both. I love my nature and beautiful Guatemalan country, and I also love the multicultural, artistic, and even hood side of LA. So I'm gonna get right to it. I experienced dysfunction and traumatic events in my childhood. I spent big part of my teens, even adulthood, like feeling like I didn't belong and searching for love, peace, and like validation around me externally. And most of the time, this was just temporary fixes or like the wrong choices. I wasn't aware of what the power within meant, like what that really meant. So this and like many other things that I have found really beneficial to overcome not only the current stress of life, but everything that I carried is what I want to be sharing with you. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to like some sort of dysfunction or trauma, unfortunately, because there's a fact that about 70% of us have gone through it. I call it the generational curse because our parents didn't know better. I don't go really into blame anymore. Blaming just kept me stuck, because you are holding on to like a low vibrational sort of energy. I'll talk more about what the heck that means. But ultimately, we need to free ourselves from it. We need to find a way to leave it behind. And I scored a 8 out of 10 on the ACE test. This is the Adverse Childhood Dysfunction test. It was a painful truth, but it's true that without awareness, we can't really change anything. And I think this is like the major thing when we're trying to make changes, but we don't really know like why we keep doing the same shit. And so this is an important thing, very important for me, because it's not really about me anymore, but the simple things that we can implement every day to help us feel better, to help us dream bigger, to help us overcome, the current situations and how to let go. And when I came into this country, like a few years after, I started hearing the terms daddy and mommy issues. And when I would think or see people talk about women insecurities, it was very judgmental. Even for where we tend to go into very judgmental attitudes, we don't know better. So I have accepted everything up until this point. I believe that everything has happened to have me what I needed to be now. And I am using part of my story to be able to support others in any way I can, because I've always loved to help people in any way possible. Like if someone was struggling with something or needed help with anything, like I love to be a little part of what could make them, get through it. And most importantly, now I found so many tools that can help ourselves find that inner power. That is the inner power. So most of my life, though, I carry with myself with like a lot of gratitude, like totally like a child. Everything still makes me like really excited, like a cool super sticker. Nature, I love music, I love dancing. I found so much more benefits that this creates, and I will be sharing dancing videos and movement videos that you can also do to like rise your energy. And I feel that this gratitude, mindful gratitude, is a skill of its own. So I'm making a video on that. Please check it out. And this has allowed me to attract like really good people in my life. And I'm really grateful for like my auntie that was there to raise me, my grandparents, the neighborhood. And I'm grateful for my mom, even my dad, with everything that happened. Even with everything that happened. And so, I lost my dad to what I believe is mental health, then addiction, then we went through domestic abuse, and I lost my mom emotionally. She wasn't able to be present emotionally and still struggles with that. And once you start growing up, and like you realize shit, you start like, as a child, our brain cannot comprehend like that kind of fucketry. Like it goes into a different part of our consciousness, and we continue to move on in order to process it. That's the process. We don't really process it as a child. And so as I began to grow up and like even realizing, being inappropriately touched, what that meant, and like this, all the shit that I went through at that point, you start getting, of course, there's a lot of like issues with self-worth. There's issues with anger. I had a lot of resentment that I realized I had to work through in order for me to free myself from it. And after the first COVID lockdown, I had just come out of the hospital with my newborn. It had been a difficult pregnancy because at 5 months old, they said that he had like 50% chance of being not born, and live only for a few days. If we were lucky, a few weeks, and definitely not over a year. And as I was there fucking crying, with my partner, we were both crying for like a week. I remember this quote by Tony Robbins that said, "Where focus goes, energy flows." It just came to me. And I had gone to see Tony at one of his events because my partner ended up taking me like almost 4 years before that. And so I stopped practicing a lot of the things that he taught, but there were some things that stuck with me, and one of them was that quote. So at that point, I made the decision and said, no, I still have 4 more months. I want to be in the best mood possible for my child, and I am going to focus on nothing but him being healthy. And I asked my partner to join me, and he said, but how are you going to deal with that? I don't think I can deal with that. And I said, I don't know. And I know that if we hit that point, then we'll figure it out then. But for now, like, I don't want to continue my pregnancy thinking about that, or thinking about it that way. And so I did, and of course, our mind, if you don't know by now, has a tendency to negative talk us, right? There's throughout history we have described like the angel and the little demon, or the good and the bad, and like this whole concept that, to me, I see it in a way more expansive level. There is good and bad energy. We all know this, and so the mind tends to sometimes, or some of the thoughts tend to go there and kind of down spiral us into what I call now the noise vortex. But for the most part, like I said, gratitude has helped me get through. And but I was feeling like total shit then. I was feeling like total shit in every sense of the word. I have gone through some shit with my partner too, right before having the baby. So I had the baby, I come home, and I was just feeling depleted. A lot of the thoughts that I would get, at some point of my teen years about, what the fuck is the point? I'm tired. And just when you feel like there's no meaning, like it tends to go there. The mind tends to go there if we don't learn how to become aware of these thoughts that come to our heads, because most of that shit is lies. And I know that skepticism is like one of the characteristics of us as human beings. Like when I went to Tony's event, I was so skeptic, like so close-minded, that the first night that he does the walk of fire, which is just to like show your mind that you can do something that you didn't think you could, and I walked through it, and I just turned around and told my partner, like, this wasn't shit. And so I was just like, had a terrible attitude sometimes, and I understand why now. And so, many times those skepticism could keep us in a suffering state, or some people even use it to like, go against human dignity and compassion for others. And it's like unconscious ignorance sometimes. So, all right. So then, in the midst of all this shit, trying to find my way out of it, I came across a challenge called A Better Life by Dean Graziosi. As then I was going through it, a lot of the things made sense. Like, don't be watching the news every day because it's only triggering fear, and the media is designed for that. I spoke about it on my first intro video. Like the facts about it, right? Like, who are you surrounding yourself with? Are they supportive? Where can you find support? Are you reading any book, like any self-help, self-development? Are you seeing any videos that uplift you? And like all of that shit was no to me. So I started to like see like, okay, I need to start creating the small changes and implementing them. And how can I get out of this funk? Like, what can I do first to get out of it and get, rise myself from it? So that totally helped me. And I went into the digital economy because I was trying to escape my 9 to 5. I'm super grateful for my jobs and really proud. I was making it. Like, I had a position where I felt really proud of myself, especially like knowing that I had come back to this country. And when I first started in the first job as customer service, I didn't even speak English, and it was so difficult, but that I made it through. And I was like, climbing the ladder, like I was fucking doing it, and I was really proud of that. And part of that was that I had this sort of aspect of bravery, that I wasn't really scared of trying to do things. That's a lie. I would be scared many times, but I would still do it. And that is a huge aspect of progress. Like, you have to do the things even if you feel fucking scared sometimes. And so I would do it, I would figure it out. I would try to find the solution. And so that, I brought it all into like the online world now. This is why I'm showing up online. I feel strongly that mental health, which is completely related to like our emotional health, our overall well-being, are extremely important, and we're not talking enough about it. And I tend to space out like this or go off track. That is why I've been trying to organize, I swear to you, mountains of information that I have collected and researched. And so if I tend to do that, I'm sorry. I'm trying my best to provide like the most to the point information here. So yeah, this digital economy is crazy. Look it up because it could provide like many different alternatives of passive income. And also that is what led me into like, this challenge where I was asked like, what if I can like narrow down my experiences and like my will to help, like who would I like to help? And at that point, I said this precise statement: I want women to know how strong and gifted they are, that by no means they should suffer at the hands of fear or dysfunctional love. I want people to know that although it might sometimes be confusing and hard, there will be a time when you are on the other side, where you begin to heal and rise, and no matter the pain, you will feel so excited and happy to be alive. So please don't give up. I then came across life coaching because I said, how am I gonna do that if like I've been in I was in relationships where I didn't listen. I seen people that didn't listen. They weren't even open to like anything. So I said, how is that gonna be possible? Like with the levels of skepticism that I said we have sometimes. And one of my best friends nicknamed me MacGyver because of like my want to like resolve things. And also my partner nicknamed me Thinky because I would be a fucking massive overthinker, and I would think about all the possible scenarios, which would ultimately end up making me feel really stuck. And so yeah, guys, like life coaching has changed my life. Being coached through it has changed my life, and many other things that I found along the way. So one of the, go check out the rest of the videos that I'm gonna be posting. I hope that something resonates with you, that you find something inspiring, beneficial. That's the whole point of it. And I feel that we all have this power within us, right? That we all have a stake in this like existential crisis right now, and that we all practice already some type of practical psychology within us and with other people. But there's many things that we were traditionally taught and many things that we didn't. So by simply starting to like being open to learning more and just, different options of healing, we can begin a huge transformational process. And for some of us, like me, no matter what I'm handed, like I continue to look up and look at the stars for what's right, for human dignity, for peace, and for us, all of us to collectively do so. The more we come together, the more the empowering change that we have. And before I even opened my mouth, I also wanted to make sure that I walked the walk, that I was practicing what I was preaching. Otherwise, like it was just complete bullshit, and I just refused to do that. So these are powerful yet simple steps that we can incorporate and just create a better life and a better world. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time. If you subscribe to the channel, it's like hugely beneficial. Not well for me obviously, but also for carrying the message through. So thank you guys. don't forget to click like. I'm sure you hear this all the time, but it's so important and appreciated. Until next video, peace.